Let's get ready to rumble. Well, everyone, welcome to another episode of Super Subs podcast. And today we're going to cover a recap of the game today, the Club World Cup, Chelsea versus PSG. An absolute spanking 3-0. Um, I think it was slightly closer than 3-0, but Chelsea, I think we deservingly won that game. And we're on top, baby. It's a dynasty building. I've been saying that for a while this season, but it's happening. Um, so yeah, today I guess we'll just cover maybe just what went right for Chelsea, what went wrong for PSG, or some of the tactical advantages, and then just shout out some players. Maybe talk about some players with poor performances.
I'll uh I'll pull up the Foot Mob app and we can kind of maybe touch on some of the players.
Yeah, let's do it. Alrighty. Sweet. So I think I'll start here. One player to touch on is I think Cole Palmer being man of the match, deservingly so, had a huge influence in the game. And this tournament we've been seeing for the first time under Maresca, where he's been playing either out left or out wide, rather than just solely centrally. And I think that was a smart move on Enzo Maresca's part. And you you've heard it on this podcast where we've said Cole Palmer should come in from the wide position instead of being, you know, throttled down by two, three defenders in the middle. He can create more out there on the wide, and he did that today. And I thought him and Gusto, their partnership with like the overlapping runs, caught PSG off guard a few times.
Yeah, and
But I
then
think
I
shout out to
thought
Palmer, like quality with the finishes and passing, but also just Maresca's tactical adjustments.
and then kind of going off of you giving praise to Gusto also, I thought Mendez was kind of left on the island today. Vicha didn't really help track back, and Gusto was kind of causing all sorts of problems, even though I know the assist he got was kind of lucky. It was like it was one of those, it was a 50-50 ball that kind of just went his way. But nonetheless, Mendez was kind of left on an island today.
Yeah. Yeah, the second goal was a little lucky from Gusto where Mendez fell and then also just like the deflection right back to Gusto. But yeah, Variasquela didn't really help. And Fabian Ruiz, I feel like he was kind of caught off position at times just with Reece James and Caicedo had a lot of time to like turn from receiving the ball. And I feel like Fabian Ruiz was so focused on Reece James and him and Variasquela didn't really help Mendez at all.
Um, and I know Palmer, obviously his match rating's quite high just because of the goal involvements, but I thought Moises Caicedo might have been the second best player on there for Chelsea. I thought he was really solid and didn't really. It was one of the fewer games where Vitinha really couldn't get the team ticking. I think that was credit to Casado, who's just he's kind of a force in there.
Yeah, I think Vitinha and João Neves too. Neither of them could really open up our midfield. Um, Reece James. What do you think of Reece James in the central midfield position?
He didn't look bad, but I don't think it's a position that's sustainable for him.
Why is that?
Um, just like with fitness issues, like I don't think he'll really ever be able to last a full 90 playing there, and I still don't think that's his strongest suit. Like he's not the quickest, and I feel like he can get. I think PSG did have an off day, and I think like if he were to come up against a midfield like them again or another strong midfield like a Newcastle midfield, like he'd get obliterated.
Mm.
But I
I
mean,
had,
he looked pretty good today in there. But I just
yeah,
don't think it's sustainable in the long term.
yeah, I thought he looked pretty good as well. It just goes to his versatility, but I do feel like we're missing out on a lot of his qualities when he plays out in the right, and it's tough for Maresca choosing between him and Gusto. But I feel like that's also a luxury as a manager, and now with like Champions League ball too, you're gonna need both of those guys playing week in, week out,
Hmm.
potentially two times a week. So um, I think when Lavia's back too, he'll fill in there. But also Santos, like he came in. I think he came in for Reece James, right? Or was it for Enzo? I
Is
for
for Enzo when Enzo pulled the hammy.
That's right. But I feel like him and Lavia are going to be the two that kind of slot in.
Even with it's unfortunate, or unfortunate for Liam Delap that João Pedro got signed later on, because I think coming into it, Liam Delap thought he'd be the starting striker. But I think this could also work where I didn't think Enzo was his most effective today. So like this could have been a game because of João Pedro's like versatility. He could have dropped in to play like the role behind the striker and Liam Delap play the striker role because Liam Delap's came in was nice.
Yeah, he looked really good. He pulled a nice shot that Donnarumma he had to fully stretch for that.
And I think as there's one he put like Braldo on the ground. I think when we get to PSG side, I thought he's probably one of the stinkier players out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how much do you think PSG missed Pacho today?
I think he's a big miss because he's one of those defenders that I think I feel like Pacho's more reliable defensively than Marquinhos, and I know Marquinhos is the captain, but like I have more faith in Pacho at the back for his pure defensive instincts as well as offensively. He has a bit more to his game as well. So I think it was a miss, but I don't think it's like a. Beraldo did have a quite a bad game, but I don't think it would have been
Hmm.
like a game changing, like a game changing impact, even if Pacho played. But he would have definitely helped.
Yeah, I think with the physicality that João Pedro brings, he had it a little too easy, and then just Cole Palmer and Pedro Neto just running off of him. Just
Hmm.
he was able to hold the ball up way too easily.
Yeah, and then another player who couldn't get into the game was Hakimi. He was, I know, I guess that's credit to Pedro Neto, just unselfish, tracking back and defending. But PSG kind of rely heavily on their wingbacks, getting involved in the attack, and Hakimi just couldn't get involved today.
Yeah, Pedro Neto is the one guy that can keep up with him. I feel like where Hakimi's always like, even the 90th minute, he doesn't look tired. Like he's always running nonstop. But like Pedro Neto is also one guy that can match him with that.
Hmm. And then I thought, just looking at the ratings, Donnarumma, I don't think that reflects like 5.7. That's not a true reflection because he had a few good saves. And then Robert Sanchez for you guys, he had a good game too. He made some big saves.
Yeah, you were texting, you were feeling a mistake coming in. He had one in the second half where he kind of got tackled.
Hmm.
Uh, but I think he made up ground for it. Cucurella covered him, but yeah, I think he made a couple decent, like really good saves.
And then even some of his ball playing, like they were kind of on the money.
Yeah, like a lot of times Cole Palmer would find himself kind of one on one or Pedro Neto because coming
Hmm.
from Robert Sanchez.
Yeah.
So my prediction today was that like key ways to win were we had to win that first half or kind of prevent PSG from starting off hot. Clearly we did that, but it was also the battle of the wings, right? Was my second point. Uh, Obviously Cole Palmer, we talked about him having a good game. I want you to talk about Pedro Neto, what you thought about his performance, and then we can talk about Vichaveria Scala and Desiree Doué too.
Yeah, I thought Pedro Neto, I don't think he was as impactful offensively, but
Hmm.
he is definitely crucial in um, helping like Cucurella defending.
Yeah,
Like
because
tracking back that work rate was immense by Pedro Neto.
yeah, in the video this morning about I thought Pedro Neto would be the game changer because he's got like that pace. Hakimi is always going forward, but it's almost the opposite where Cole Palmer was the guy that was like our escape route at times.
Yeah, it's crazy that like João Pedro, he's barely had any training, but like the link up, like I think it was the first 5 minutes he had like that back heel to Cole Palmer, and he like just missed, but like just that link up and instinct between the two already, like building that chemistry is pretty crazy considering he's like he just came onto the team not too long ago.
Yeah, I missed that one. The back heel, I missed it live because I was heating up a snack. I was
Mm.
ready to get comfy for the game and like, I was like ready for
Uh,
the show. And then I just hear the TV and I was like, oh, yo, I missed it.
yeah, the two of them had a really they're building a pretty strong chemistry, which is scary. And then you were asking about Vicha just he did not have a good game. Um,
He was quiet. He barely
Very
touched
quiet.
the ball.
Like literally the only thing I can remember of him was like when he megged Gusto and got fouled. Like I think that's the only thing I remember of him. Um,
Yeah, I think it helped Reece James playing in the midfield, him and Gusto, because we saw Reece James pretty deep back there, even though he's in the midfield, covering ground. And I feel like if it was someone else there, like for example, if we had pushed Enzo back there and had Palmer at the 10, I think Villasquela would have had a lot more enjoyment today. But I think Reece James being there to cover Gusto when he was bombing forward helped out a lot.
and then I think on the opposite side, I think Desiree Doué had a bit of a better game. I say definitely first half he looked a bit better. Second half he had his moments here and there. I know he had that one cross to Dembele, and then just a good save by Sanchez. But even Desiree Doué, he was a bit quiet this game. But he, out of the front three, it looked like he would kind of be their outlet.
Hmm.
Because even Dembele was kind of quiet today. I think he was dropping back even deeper to pick up the ball just because Vitinha just really couldn't get into the game today.
Yeah. Um, Due had me scared in the first half for sure. Mark Cucurella definitely looked a little frazzled at times, and I was like, oh, Desiree is going to be the man for PSG to do it, kind of like the Champions League, but just didn't work out. And I mean, props to Robert Sanchez for pulling out some big saves. And then I guess my third point this morning too was just making sure like if we wanted a chance, we had to win that midfield battle. So I was really kind of focused on Caicedo and Enzo because I knew those two guys were kind of certified to be in there versus kind of the likes of Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, João Neves. Why do you think, I guess, like, why wasn't PSG able to kind of control the game like they have against all these top teams? And I mean, they've come across the likes of Madrid with like such a strong midfield.
I think it's just because Chelsea, I guess it's kind of a good, like, especially if you're a Chelsea supporter, like just having players that have a bit of nastiness to their game. Like Casado and Enzo, they're definitely not scared to like leave their mark, commit like a foul here and there. And then just even like João Pedro, like having those like bit of players that have like a little nastiness to their game, I feel like is needed. And PSG, they just weren't given the time. Like it felt like every time they got the ball, like someone would be breathing down their neck. Whereas I think versus Madrid, like there were times where Mbappe and Vinny were both standing around, no one starting to press. Whereas here, like everyone was full throttle pressing for Chelsea.
Hmm. Yeah, this might be a little of a hot take, but I think Vitinha, the more I've been watching him, I feel like he's a little overrated. Especially with I've been getting a lot of people like I see people talking about Vitinha like he should be potential Ballon d'Or candidate, especially after like Rodri won it as a holding mid. And Vitinha, they're like, oh, he should be like top 4 or 5. But like, I don't know. The more I like watch him, I feel like he's less and less of an influence on PSG. Um, I actually think João Neves is more important to that midfield. And Vitinha, yeah, he gets 90 plus passes a game, but like they're very short passes. He is kind of the metrodome setter, but like he doesn't really make that many line breaking passes. And he's a player that just like at times just like he just looks busy, but isn't actually doing much effectively.
He's I think he's definitely more. I think he is a good player. I think he's almost like a Jorginho type player, but I think a bit more quality to his game. I think like I think Fabian Ruiz kind of goes more under the radar because I think he kind of gets more of those line breaking passes, whereas João Neves he can. João Neves is definitely one that's like gets the wins the ball back for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get your point, Vitinha. It's a lot of yeah, he dictates tempo, but it's a lot of just like sideways and short passing.
Hmm.
Whereas I think Fabian Ruiz, he doesn't really get the props usually that he deserves.
Yeah, and even like the Pedri Vitinha comp at times, I feel like it's disrespectful to Pedri. I feel like he's on a whole different level and like his game offensively and like his influence is much more than Vitinha. And also being able to like Vitinha, he does do pretty well where he's able to escape pressure pretty nicely.
That I do like. I think
Yeah.
I think he edges out on Pedri.
But I feel like Pedri, I don't know if he edges, but I feel like they're pretty much on par almost. Um,
Nah, not on the escaping on the pressure. I think Bettina is really good at doing that.
I don't know, but the more I've been watching Vitinha, I've been watching him closer just because I've been seeing people give him Ballon d'Or potential shouts,
Dang, you're on that hate watch.
and I guess so. I never appreciated his game before, but now that he's like on this Ballon d'Or like list, I guess on people's list, I'm like, what? Like above Pedri? That's insane.
Yeah, I know you love your dude Pedri. Dang,
Yeah.
on that hate watch.
I don't know. I feel like he's definitely mastered the art of just looking,
Looking busy.
yeah, but Jorginho vibes, like Odegaard, but also Mark Noble vibes at times.
I will say the relieving of the pressure though, he that is one thing he has in his locker. Like he's um always calm under pressure. I'm just gonna scroll down just a bit also, just to look at the subs that kind of came on, and then if you want to touch on any of them, I think we already kind of touched on Liam Delap. He had a really good cameo. First involvement, almost scored in that highlight you mentioned where Donnarumma's full stretch. Who else? Who else on the subs you think had a good cameo, or you think could have been brought on early?
Um, I feel like Bradley Barcola could have came on a little earlier. Um, Oh no, he came on 58th minute. So yeah, give Vicha 10 minutes. It just wasn't working out for Vicha, but I guess you got to give him 10 minutes at least.
Mhm.
I'm not really sure looking at PSG's depth. Maybe Zaire Emery could have changed the game, but I'll speak on Chelsea, like our part. Uh, Nkunku, he's been increasing his stocks since this tournament started. I feel like I haven't seen him run this hard since his Leipzig days.
He's trying to get his price tag up to get a move.
Yeah, and I think it helps. Like you've harped on it so many times that he's not a true forward, and we've kind of been playing him like that. But um, the issue with him in the past for me was just like his effort and desire from what we saw at Leipzig hasn't translated. But like maybe it's because Maresca's trying to play him in a different role, but he definitely looks more motivated. So I've been happy with his performance. You just touched on the lap. Dewsbury Hall, brother. I guess you're gonna be part of the squad. I thought he was gonna be gone after the season, to be honest, but he's made uh, appearances almost every game this tournament. And then Andre Santos, dude, we're both pretty big fans of him. What he did at Strasbourg, and I definitely think he's. I don't think he's starter. He can start over any of our midfielders, and even when Lavia plays, I don't think he'll start over him. But I do think I hope we keep him because I do think he'll play a big role for us.
Hmm. He'll definitely get minutes every game, and then
Mhm.
definitely get some of the starts in the other tournaments, like the Carabaos and FA Cups.
Oh yeah, I know Madueke. He's got to be punching himself right now.
Oh, left a little too soon.
Left too soon.
Yeah, I think the one player uh I was kind of surprised that didn't come on for PSG. I know this kid right here, this my Lulu guy. I think
Hmm.
he's only like 17 or 18, but I was surprised he came on instead of like uh King and Lee. Just because I know King and Lee, he's young too, but he definitely has a lot more experience and like a bit more CV than this Mayulu kid. But
Hmm.
I guess they're just trying to test out the waters for him.
Yeah, and like this coming year, when we get Willian Estavio, um, man, our depth is gonna look crazy. And then we also got Jamie Gittins coming in. So, and then depending on what happens with Mudryk, I don't know. I feel like it's scary hours for Chelsea. And then even Andre Santos, like again, if we hopefully we keep him and don't loan him out, he's still a super young prospect, got legs and things I like about the squad we have now is like they look like proper Chelsea men, like back in the days where they're passionate to win games, unselfish. They like Santos came in and he was celebrating that one clearance he had, or where he kind of shielded a player out. I think it was like in the 80th minute.
Mhm.
He was like celebrating like he scored a goal. So I don't know. I just feel like we have proper Chelsea men now.
And I think also the nice part about your squad is, yeah, you guys have bought a lot, and like you're bound to hit at some point with this amount of transfers, but like now you guys are to the point where like you have a starting 11 that you're quite comfortable with, but then also like you have a whole second team that's like a possibly like a starting material team as well,
Hmm.
like on the bench. I
Yeah, and
think
real quick on Santos too. I know we've talked about him enough for only playing less than 30 minutes, but he also in that 30 minutes he registered the most duels won out of any player that played the entire game. It's just a interesting stat. He
Mhm.
just some of the more unappreciated things that go on in the games.
I think the only uh, issue or thing that Maresca will have to kind of handle going into the season is I think you guys have a bench that do are like big name players. Um, I feel like managing the minutes is going to be one thing that Maresca is going to have to kind of just worry about because I know like obviously being on the bench like no one wants to be on the bench like everyone wants to start especially like now Chelsea have all these big names on the bench like I feel like
Hmm.
Maresca is going to have to manage a lot of minutes to kind of keep everyone happy.
Yeah, and also like develop players too. Like, I mean, another winger that I forgot to mention was Tyreek George, 19-year-old, and I mean, last year we saw cameos of him, and he was pretty impressive. So I think he might be one that we should probably loan out because I definitely want him to get some more experience, and I think he could be a future for us.
Mhm.
But one guy I know we've touched on a few times that I'm kind of nervous about is Nicholas Jackson because I mean he started coming into this tournament, looked good, um, but then the lab came in and looked really good, kind of overtook Jackson, and because Jackson had that one red card, and then Joe Pedro came on, has come into the team, and Delap looked like he was going to be starting over Jackson. And it was going to be a competition between those two, but now it looks like João Pedro is kind of taking the number nine, and Delap might be coming off for him, and now Nicholas Jackson kind of doesn't. He's down the pecking order even more. Didn't even get to see him today. I mean, he's still really young, 23, 24. So I don't know. It's like, does he have to? I hope he kind of reverts his game to what he was playing at Villarreal, but kind of nervous for him if he decides to stay at Chelsea and what happens.
I did see reports. I don't know how reliable, but I saw Chelsea are willing to sell him. But I know they did set a quite high asking price, which
Yeah, it was
well, I don't.
115 million.
Yeah, I don't think is realistic.
Yeah, I think AC Milan wants him, but we're only willing to go up to 65. But we're like, no, he's worth a lot more than that.
Hmm.
Which I mean, it's fair. I really do think he's got that potential to be like a superstar. I
Potentially, but that's a huge asking price. I feel like you
yeah,
might have to just cut his because you guys have just a huge squad. Like I feel like cut your losses on him, get some money.
but I still see it in him, like that he could be a really, really good player. Um, Honestly, I think United, y'all should go after Nicholas Jackson. I feel like he would be a good fit. I mean, it looks like Gokares isn't going to be coming, so
Mm.
and y'all need a striker.
Yeah,
So
yeah, we might. I know, knowing us, we would probably actually do a panic buy and spend the crazy amount, but I just don't think he's worth that yet.
but how much would you pay for him? Because I feel like he would be a perfect player for y'all.
I think probably like 70 mil max. I know with Garnacho out the door, maybe give y'all Garnacho and pay like a smaller amount maybe.
But I mean, Chelsea, he came to us when we were down in the mid-table, and I mean, look at us now. We're Champions League heading in there. We're Club World Cup champs. Lifted the trophy twice this year, so like he had a big say in our team, you know. So like, what's to say he can't do the same for United? Because I feel like y'all are in the same situation, maybe a little worse than what we were in.
Hmm. Yeah, he's 24, so fits that profile for us too, where we're
Hmm.
targeting the youngsters. Yeah, overall though, congrats to your boys. That was a for a neutral, I'll admit it was a little boring because you guys dominated, especially after that first 10 minutes. I was like, yeah, Chelsea's kind of set the tone. And you guys took the 2 2-0 lead before the cooling break, and then I was like, oh, maybe this cooling break is going to be a blessing for PSG, kind of stop Chelsea on their tracks and stop the momentum, but like they just couldn't get anything going. And then second half, I mean, you guys kind of had it wrapped up already, so sitting in the low block and PSG just couldn't break it down. So for neutral, it was kind of boring for like
especially
a
that second half.
highly anticipated match. Yeah. But I'd say the most entertaining part of the game was at the end with all that chaos.
Oh yeah,
It
PSG
was-
were shook.
yeah, they were shooketh. Luis Enrique. Well, João Pedro had a little bit of a flop. He got touched by Luis Enrique and went down, but bad looks.
As a manager, yeah, I think he's probably going to get fined for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean PSG. I mean, we were heavy underdogs, rightfully so, because I didn't realize PSG the last four games against European sides, they've scored 15 goals and conceded zero. So they beat Inter 5-0, Atletico 4-0, Bayern 2-0, and then Madrid this past week 4-0. And for us to not concede a goal and also put three past them, even I wasn't expecting that. I thought we would go like 3-2, extra time, grab it, but this game was really impressive.
And then I think in this entire Club World Cup, PSG, before this game, they only got scored on once throughout the entire tournament, and it was in that loss versus that Brazilian side.
Batoga or something. Yeah.
That's a crazy stat.
But even them, like that Batoga team, they scored pretty early on and then they just kind of sat back the whole time. And I feel like we did a little of that second half where we came out and we were just
Yeah.
kind of playing the counter and like it almost worked. We scored a few times, almost scored a few times with Palmer, João Pedro, and Delap too, just botting guys. But
Yeah.
yeah, I saw pictures of Enzo Maresca last night, I think, where he was like on the field, like looking like he was analyzing what he wanted to do. And people were like, brother is gonna pull a Pep and overdo it or overthink it just to lose like 8-0.
I also saw um the collab with like I thought it was kind of weird doing a collab right before a match final, but like Dembele and Palmer like at the where was it? Where they were like shaking
Oh,
hands.
yeah. And then like taking that photo shoot over in New York
Yeah. I
City.
was like so I feel like it's just the American way, kind of like advertising and stuff.
Yeah, and also like you were watching on, I guess it was only on DAZN. Um, like I do like the parts where they introduce the players, like the walkouts.
Oh no, dude! I hope if they do that in the World Cup, that's gonna be so bad.
But even like Premier League games, you don't think that that'd be cool for like
No,
each. Dude, I
no.
like it. It's like I don't know. I feel like it's pretty cool and exciting.
Same
And
the
like,
WWE, UFC.
but it's like each player gets like their own little moment. I found like it's pretty
Mm.
cool. I mean, miss me with it like the like championship teams and stuff, but like from top teams and like champion, I feel like Champions League, dude, that'd be cool to see each player get
Uh-huh.
introduced. I
I will.
enjoyed it.
I will say too, the halftime performance. I kind of went up to do my laundry, so I missed the whole halftime performance. But that halftime was long.
Yeah, it felt like a Super Bowl almost.
Yeah, I do not like those vibes. But I think when the World Cup happens, and I know they've announced they're going to do a halftime show, they better keep it to like the 15-minute limit. And then
Yeah.
also they need the artist to be like a international, like they had like
Wait,
Doja
was that
Cat.
Doja Cat? I was
Uh-huh.
confused. Okay, that was her.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she looked like she was in a Crystal Palace top, but
Yeah, I also don't like yeah, the thing with DAZN and like this tournament that I don't like is whenever there's a sub or a like a injury break or something, they always go to like a commercial for like 30 seconds on the
oh,
side.
that pulls off to the side, and
Yeah.
yeah, and then it mutes the game too. So I'm like,
Yeah, that's like I wouldn't mind if they didn't mute the game, but that's what I don't like is like you can't hear the commentators talk.
yeah, and the Dazen, because I had like the free trial thing.
Yeah.
So the logo would like come up in the middle of your screen
Or you
randomly.
have like the free version, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
exactly.
I had too.
Um, but yeah, that was an entertaining tournament. Um,
Yeah.
I think I think this is kind of like a test run to see how it will kind of look like going forward. But what was your thoughts? Do you think it's more enjoyable than Champions League or?
Uh, I still enjoy the Champions League a lot, but I do think going forward, this is going to be a much bigger thing. And like I enjoy that they have multiple teams from each continent rather than just like one or two teams representing each continent
Mhm.
or country. So I enjoyed that part. And again, you just see like some of these other national teams taking down like European giants, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. Um, yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool experience though. So, but I'm still in the same boat. Champions League is definitely a lot more entertaining. Um, but I don't like how this one is so close, like to when the season starts, because I feel like
Hmm.
you guys, PSG now, like just not getting enough rest. And we saw like it's just added more games. We're like Reece James, like you could kind of see like him getting injured, and that might be a big loss just considering his injury history. So it's a lot of factors still to deal with.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like great for João Pedro, to get the best way to kind of get into the team is, or like get used to the team is like playing these types of games, especially
Mhm.
when it's not like for the league or Champions League. But I do think going forward, for real, that this tournament's going to be on the same par as Champions League.
Ooh. Yeah, we'll see about that. We did see some big hitters in attendance. Big Donald, uh, President. That's when you know it's big. You don't see any other sporting event where the president attends. Saw Tom Brady out there, Mr. Unlimited, Russell Wilson.
Limited.
Um, yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if it's an annual thing or like you mentioned, it'd be really cool if it's like a 4 year type deal.
PSG, they impressively still have 5 trophies to their name this year, and they have a chance August 13th against Spurs. We'll see if they can get the septuple. Um, so if they do, they would be one of 3 teams to ever do that, win 6 trophies in a year, in a season. So still have a chance for that, but it would be insane if Tottenham uh, destroy those dreams.
I was gonna say Tottenham got no chance, but let me not jinx it. I mean, I said Chelsea were not gonna have any chance, so Premier League might just be different gravy. See,
um, so
we'll
August
we'll have
3rd,
to do a if PSG do end up winning, we'll have to do like a combined like best 11 of the sep. What was it called if you win six?
septuple, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to do
Septuple.
like a septuple combined 11 or something.
Yeah, let's do that next episode before they or like before the game. Let's do that. If
Y- You think you got confidence in the?
against Spurs, yeah, come
All
on,
right,
they're not our level
fair,
yet.
fair. Uh,
But ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first before Narvin signs us out. Chelsea dynasty incoming in the making.
we will see. We
You
will
remember the
see.
Barca Real days? That's what's coming up.
Bold claims, my guy. Bold claims. Um, but with that, this was more so an episode just to recap the game. But I think that's all for this week. Like we mentioned, we'll do a combined 11 for the next episode before the what do they call it? The UEFA Super Cup?
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll do
yeah.
a combined 11 before that match.
That could have been y'all.
Could have been us, but hey, I've always said I wanted the one match a week. Focus on the league.
Dude,
I'm telling you that for us rebuilding, that's what we need. Just a one match. Just we need.
I have been seeing pictures of some of the players at United, and they are looking absolutely ripped. I
Casemiro
don't
was
know.
looking shredded.
Dude,
Wild.
him, Dallo was, I was like, bro, these guys are on steroids or something. Like the
Yeah.
transformation's insane.
Apparently, Ruben Amarin he made a custom training training and nutrition plan for each player to follow.
Wow. Yeah, every player has
Hmm.
looked ripped.
Yeah, we'll see though.
And that man, the Butcher, WWE superstar, looks like he benching out here 225. I said,
Craziness.
what? Why do you need that much weight, my guy?
Hey, the Butcher. He's back, baby.
He's preparing for Adama Traore.
That's his yeah. That's his arch
uh,
nemesis.
two WWE superstars.
Hmm. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is all for this week. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll be back next time to talk more footy, highlight some game-changing super transfers. I know we didn't touch on that this episode. Just wanted to stick to the game, and also drop takes hotter than a Derby day. If you enjoyed the chat, make sure to subscribe, drop us a rating, and share the pod with your friends and family. But until then, keep the football chatter alive, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Up the Chels!